don't know what they have to say. It makes no difference anyway, whatever it is, I'm against it. No matter what it is or who commenced it, I'm against it. Your proposition may be good, but let's have one thing understood. Whatever it is, I'm against it. And even when you've changed it or condensed it, I'm against it.
Within the Department of Agriculture, we began a pilot project which brought together randomly selected members to dialogue for a day and a half on whatever issues or concerns that were important to them, and then report out to the larger audience. For this pilot project, we worked within the director's office and the agency operations, which is about 80 people, whereas the entire Department of Agriculture, as far as permanent employees, is about 500. So this pilot project really was just to test drive this concept. And it's been very effective. We had 3 councils. The first one was in June of 2002. The second one was in October. And then the third one was in February. I may have that first year wrong. Maybe that was 01.
How did you get acquainted to it, and how did it start for you?
Well, basically, they said this was a mandatory meeting. We had to be there. It's like, okay, we'll show
Whatever.
up and we'll see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And then Jim got up there and explained about the Wisdom Council idea and how he had used it in the bank. But yeah, anyway, so I was pretty skeptical at the beginning of this. I thought, we'll see. I don't know. Depends on if we get enough people to vote for this thing or not. And we actually did. We had between 70 and 80%, if I remember right, that voted to go ahead with it, to try it.
Yeah.
And so then there was it 6 people? I think it was 6 people that were randomly drawn. I guess they used a computer program to randomly select the people from within 80 or so people that were there in the audience.
Yeah.
And then it was just, what, a week, 2 weeks later that they convened the council?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It wasn't very
pretty
long.
quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick right afterwards. But it astounds me that anybody would vote against this. I mean, to me, it seems like such a slam dunk. If you're, want to be plugged into the organization and really sort of take charge. It's really about empowering people.
Right.
So they get randomly selected, and then they get to choose the issues of and then speak as one voice, so they can make real change. And
Yeah, that's the real beauty of this methodology, this concept, is that the group decides for themselves what it is that they want to talk about. And because we have this random selection of people, some who may not even work together, may not be familiar with one another at all, you get them in a room, you give them the opportunity to really listen to one another and really speak their mind without fear and judgment. And it's incredible what can evolve from that.
so, okay, so you did it with a group of 80. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. What happened in the first 3 sessions?
Well, in the first session, the participants came up with, well, we've got too many things to do. We've got multiple priorities, and there hasn't been any real clear direction on what's the most important, what things can be dropped. We're just overworked and not any foreseeable future of being able to control that. So, we came up with some strategies of maybe how to resolve some of that.
Yeah, there was a real, I facilitated that, so I remember, but it was a real orientation toward supporting management to get clear, not blaming.
No, they weren't blaming at all.
Yeah, but really about needing clarity, and just the fact that the department had somehow everything had changed so much, and there was so much more to do, and there really was a need to bring more clarity to sort of stop the action and bring clarity, and that really was the direction that the Wisdom Council was headed, actually. It seemed like.
Yeah, and the second one, that's the one I actually participated on. We focused on this thing we call the silo effect, where you got a program that's over here doing their own thing, you got a program over here doing their own thing, and one over here doing their own thing, and none of them communicate with each other much, just other than what they're told to do as far as communication. But they got their own little world there that they work in, and nothing outside that world is ever really considered.
So you made a presentation, you came up with some statements about the silo effect, and you made a presentation, and everybody then turned their chairs and talked in small groups about it.
I think that was probably the most powerful thing, was just getting together and just turning around and talking to the people that were near you about what this all meant to you. That kind of got the conversation going out to the larger group.
Yes.
Kind of gets the wheels turning a little bit.
Right, and then we have a call out from all the different small groups and find out what they think or what they thought about what you came up with. And what was the conclusion from that?
Well, they by and large agreed with our conclusion that we're all just kind of working in our own little silos here, and nobody's really cross-communicating and cross-training the way that they really could be. I mean, it's not a dynamic organization as much as it should be.
So what you had is that group of 80, that subgroup of the system, all in agreement and all knowing they're in agreement that this is a big problem.
Right.
And so what kind of changes came out of that?
Well, we talked about some ways of improving that, maybe sending people out to actually follow somebody around for a day and see exactly what they do, just kind of get some perspective. Have people do these rotations around to see what's going on and how they can kind of get a bigger picture view of what goes on in the agency, because it's huge. I mean, we do everything from nursery plant inspections, where plants are brought in from out of the state. They inspect them for pests and things. They do all kinds of things, like you've probably heard this mad cow thing that has come through. I mean, that's another big thing, but it covers a huge amount of different areas, and all of them just seem to work independently without any clue of what the others are doing.
Right.
What the Wisdom Council has done is provided that possibility where they can see that they are not only connected to this group of people on the Wisdom Council, but the larger organization as well. As in the second Wisdom Council, where they came up with, there is this tendency to kind of have this silo effect. I think that because people were in this large room presentation, they all heard this council report, this concept, this idea, and it appeared to resonate with everyone in the room. And so because of that, it's almost like an inductive learning. It's not about somebody telling you something. It's about really getting it. And so what I see is that people are starting to think about, oh, how does my work impact so-and-so in another program or another division? And we're more likely to go check and do that collaboration on a very informal basis.
Well, it gets people talking again. I mean, people just kind of sit in their cubicle and do their own thing in our building, and then out in the field, of course, you have people that work in these packing houses that just inspect fruit all day, and they never see anybody outside that fruit packing plant. So, except for their monthly staff meeting maybe, and that's usually just a top-down approach, get information from the boss and go back out and do your thing. But this actually encourages conversation among everybody.
Yeah. This is where where you've got a mechanism that can facilitate everybody to really talk, to do big talk instead of little talk, and to reach consensus about what we're trying to do, and not just a survey where you just say yes, no, check the box, or even a discussion where you back and forth, agree, disagree. It's about being creative together.
Yeah, because then everybody's asking, well, who wrote this survey? Where'd they come up with these questions?
What are they going to do with the results anyway?
Well, we did one of these 5 years ago. Nothing ever came out of it.
Right. Now there's nobody to blame because it's us doing this stuff, and we're all going to keep meeting and talking.
Yeah, and there's something about having everyone in that large room hearing the same thing at the same time versus a select group of people who are analyzing survey results.
Right.
There's just a broader sensation of understanding that we are part of a team.
Yeah.
And I think that flows into other parts of our work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it brings people closer together too. I've noticed that it's much more of a sense of community now,
Yeah.
at least within our division, than it was before. I mean, we hardly ever even knew
Yeah.
who was in other programs in the division.
Yeah.
It was really an excellent opportunity for employees who don't normally get involved in the process
Yeah. Yeah.
to really contribute to the agency. And I noticed a lot of the words were much more involved and much more kind of outgoing and things that had to do with the agency. You know, it really gave us a chance for some things that wouldn't get talked about to come out on the table, and you always learn from your employees. They all have something to contribute. They're all part of the team, and to give them that chance to contribute, it really solidifies the group. I thought it was a wonderful process. I hope it continued after I left.